Minister Chidambaram gave a statement that India would retaliate strongly to Pakistan-backed terrorism. He said, "If terrorists and militants from Pakistan try to carry out any attacks in India, they will not only be defeated but will be retaliated very strongly." He said he has been warning Pakistan not to play with India and that the Mumbai attacks should be the last game. Contrary to the statement of Indian Home Minister, it is the Indian soil which is being continuously used for subversive activities against neighboring countries such as Pakistan, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal and China etc. No wonder New Delhi is facing some serious security threats but from within. These problems and threats are of absolutely indigenous nature. India is facing Naxal menace, which according to the Indian Prime Minister is the biggest threat to country's security. Similarly, the turmoil in the northeastern states is also a result of Indian government's inability to address their grievances. India is also facing communal violence perpetrated by Hindu extremists, having patronage of Indian government. The demolition of Babri Mosque, Gujarat pogrom and burning of Samjhota Express are few examples in which Hindu extremists butchered Muslims with complete impunity. Being the traditional enemy, India always tried to create chaos in Pakistan and RAW performs this duty very efficiently. Since its inception, RAW tried in one way or the other to destabilize Pakistan. After East Pakistan started demanding autonomy from 1969 onwards, RAW extended open and full cooperation to the movement leading to the dismemberment of Pakistan and creation of Bangladesh. In fact, this was more a war between India and Pakistan rather than the movement of autonomy. After the separation of East Pakistan and the creation of Bangladesh, Indian Prime Minister Indira Gandhi delivered a speech at New Delhi ground in which she mocked the two nations theory by saying, "Today we have taken the revenge of the 1,000-year slavery and the birth of Bangladesh is the death of two nations theory." India is engaged in creating disturbance in Pakistan. It currently has an extensive diplomatic presence in Afghanistan. It includes the Indian Embassy in Kabul and 4 consulates in Kandahar, Jalalabad, Mazar-e-Sharif and Herat. These Indian diplomatic missions serve as launching pads for undertaking covert operations against Pakistan from Afghan soil. Particularly, the Indian consulates in Kandahar and Jalalabad and their embassy in Kabul are used for clandestine activities inside Pakistan in general and the federally administered tribal areas FATA and Balochistan in particular. Indian consulates in Afghanistan are printing fake Pakistani currency, using it to recruit poverty-stricken Afghans to carry out acts of sabotage and terrorism on Pakistani territory. A senior official in Pakistan's foreign ministry said that, "Pakistan very much wants a stable Afghanistan, because they are next to us, and any instability up there will leak into Pakistan. But as for the Indians, we told Afghanistan that the only purpose of opening those consulates is cross-border terrorism into Pakistan." India is using Afghanistan as the launching base for proxy war and is constantly encouraging and promoting activities detrimental to Pakistan. India is continuously interfering into the internal affairs of Bangladesh. She is supporting the Chakma refugees of Bangladesh in order to create unrest in that country. Her expansionist design intends to merge the whole Bangladesh into Indian territory. For this purpose India is supporting many separatist groups and fifth columnists for covert and overt operations. Tracts of Bangladeshi territories are in forced possession of India. She presently occupies 110 enclaves of Bangladesh. Human Rights Congress of Bangladeshi Minorities HRCBM, a Hindu organization, is creating communal violence in Bangladesh. It is facilitating the settlement of Hindus in border districts of the country in order to facilitate Indian annexation of border territory of Bangladesh. The area identified is about 30% border territory of Bangladesh and has been named Bongo Bhumi to be annexed with India. Economic growth of Bangladesh has been hampered due to excessive penetration of Indian smuggled goods into the markets of Bangladesh. Indian intelligence agencies have also flooded Bangladesh with fake paper money to ruin its economy. Apart from Pakistan and Bangladesh, Nepal and Sri Lanka are also the victims of RAW's wicked designs. India engineered internal strife and conflicts in Nepal through RAW to destabilize the successive legitimate governments and prop up puppet regimes which would be more amenable to Indian machinations. India is creating problems in Terai area through armed groups who are now openly talking of a separate Madhesi state. A regional party named Terai Madesh Loktansrik Party TMLP has been launched in Terai area. Reportedly, the party is fully backed by India. India is critical of the working of United Nations Mission UNMN in Nepal, which is working in Nepal since January 2007 to monitor the ceasefire between army and Maoists. UNMN has been able to find out Indian involvement into the internal affairs of Nepal. In Sri Lanka, RAW created and supported Tamil Tigers. On the Mukti Bahini model, RAW built up terrorist training camps in Tamil Nadu for a number of Tamil terrorist organizations. The militants trained in India sidelined the moderate Tamils and started demanding complete independence. The Indian diplomat G. Parathasarathi admitted supporting terrorism in Sri Lanka. We have learned our lesson for backing the terrorist and that India paid its price for backing the LTTE. The former Indian High Commissioner in Sri Lanka, J. N. Dixit, even accused RAW of having given Rs. 5 crore to the LTTE. Indian interference in China is stimulated by different factors. First, its growing economy is becoming a challenge for India. India wants to damage foreign trade of China, and for this purpose it is maligning China internationally as a violator of human rights. Secondly, India never took China as a friend. In 1998 it conducted nuclear tests and claimed that its nuclear program was not Pakistan but China-centric. India at the moment is illegally capturing 90,000 square kilometers area of China. Similarly, both Indian media and intelligentsia are claiming Indian right over Tibet by saying that it is a part of Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh. India is supporting Dalai clique, which is demanding the separation of Tibet from China. India has provided political asylum to Dalai Lama, political and spiritual leader of Tibetans, in 1959 and allowed him to run a Tibetan government in exile in Dharamshala, Himachal Pradesh. Dalai Lama once said, "We regard India as a guru and consider ourselves disciples of India." India, which is in habit of blaming others for all its wrongs most of the time, forgets that it has many elements on its soil which are creating terrorism. In most of the subversive activities on Indian soil the Hindu extremist groups are involved. They executed such activities sometimes to have an excuse to start backlash against Muslims and sometimes to inflict harm upon Muslims and damage to their properties and belongings. Despite knowing the involvement of Hindu fanatics in most terrorist acts, the Indian government is in habit of blaming Lashkar-i-Taiba, Jaish-e-Mohammed, Indian Muslims and Pakistan for every subversive activity. This is just like deliberately closing one's eyes and ignoring the facts. There are several incidents in which the Indian government readily put the blame on Indian Muslims in Pakistan, such as Sabarmati Express incident, Malagaon blasts and Samjhota Express explosion. It was, however, cleared afterwards that Hindu extremist groups have had a hand in all these events, as the style of execution was much similar. In its well-known way, India is double-crossing its neighbors and leaving no stone unturned to expand beyond its territory. In order to understand the Indian political objectives, one has to recall childhood story of the wolf and the lamb. Just like wolf, India, on the basis of lame excuses and absurd reasons, trying to eat up the small neighboring states. After all, this is the only way a greater India can emerge on the map of the world.